Halo Combat Evolved is one of those very special video games to me. It is a game that introduced me to the wonderful world of the Xbox, and I remember when I first got my Xbox back in like 2003, I got Soul Calibur 2 because Spawn was in it, and I also got Halo, and these two games blew my mind, more so Halo, because it introduced me to first-person shooters. It introduced me to amazing video game soundtracks that to this day still are just amazing. But Halo Combat Evolved is a very special game and it means a lot to me. So looking at this game without being a fan was quite interesting. So I played the Anniversary Edition on the Master Chief Collection. Now I've already played this prior, so this is me just playing the Anniversary game again, but on PC. So let's go ahead and talk about Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary. You play as John 117, the Master Chief, waking up from cryosleep just after the fall of Reach. An attack on the Pillar of Autumn has Chief quickly waking up and being introduced to his AI companion Cortana. From there, the two must evacuate the Pillar of Autumn and land on a ring to survive and uncover the mysteries of what lies on there. The original Combat Evolved is still one of the most special experiences I'll ever have. There's 10 levels in Halo, and I think each of the 10 levels really add a sense of wonder and discovery, and sometimes a little bit of horror, and just, it's very, very interesting. In Combat Evolved, the first set of levels really feels like you are discovering something new, and even playing this game all these years later, I still feel the same way. And then with Halo Anniversary, they added a brand new system where you can toggle the graphics from Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox to the brand new reworked graphics of the Anniversary. With a simple button press at 343 Industries, used the same code of the original Combat Evolved and basically just reskinned a game over it, so you can toggle back and forth, and it is really cool to experience what some things looked like back then and then see some of the new stuff as well. The Halo series changed the game for first-person shooters on console. Back in 2002 when this game was released, it really blew a lot of people away. Bungie really just blew it out of the water and made a fantastic control scheme that is mimicked to this day, and then Call of Duty improved upon it, and it just goes on from there. But the original Halo Combat Evolved is so simple in terms of controls. There's a trigger button, there's a grenade button, there's basic buttons that we all use today, but they just made it work very well. And with Halo Combat Evolved, it introduced vehicles to Halo, which added another deep layer of transportation, which was actually really fun in a first-person shooter. And to this day, Halo still has one of the most fun vehicles in a video game, in my opinion. Also, with the huge amounts of UNSC and Covenant weapons and vehicles, by the time you master these weapons in the campaign, you can now bring them onto the online scene thanks to the Master Chief Collection. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to experience this, but the original Combat Evolved had this really cult following of LAN parties and local multiplayer where people would set up CRTVs all throughout somebody's house or colleges and dorm rooms, and it would just be insane couch co-op tournaments. If you look this stuff up, it is insane, so not being able to experience that kind of sucks. But now, with the Master Chief Collection, we are able to play the entire Halo 1 multiplayer online. And let me tell you, this is so much fun. I love Combat Evolved multiplayer. It's very simple, but it's just so crazy, and it's really cool to see how the game started from here and it built upon this incredible multiplayer, which in my opinion is still the best first-person shooter experience you can play today. Alright, this is by far gonna be probably the biggest section of this review, and this is the negatives of Halo Combat Evolved. Now, I have played this game well over 5 times for sure, not including Anniversary, just in general of a mix of both. And I have to say, replaying this game again, I didn't realize how bad the checkpoints were in this game. So when I first played Combat Evolved on PC, I didn't really notice it. The first couple levels I was flying through with no issue, and I always remembered the last 3 or 4 levels of Halo got really difficult. And when I finally got to those again, it became apparent that yes, I remember why this is so hard. A lot of the checkpoints in Combat Evolved are very, very frustrating. There's been sections where I've gotten past the part I was stuck at, right? And I am continuing on into the level, maybe get 5 minutes, if not more, down the pipeline of this level, and then I get killed and I get dragged all the way back to where I got stuck initially, and then I get stuck there again and again. There was times where I feel like I've lost probably a couple hours just dealing with these really poor checkpoints, especially on the last 3 levels of Halo, which is super unfortunate. It made me extremely frustrated, and I don't know how I did it. I played the hardest level of this game on Legendary, and that's rough. That's rough. I never want to do that again, and I did that a long time ago, and I played on normal this time. It is insane. Lastly, aside from the checkpoints, there's one other negative. I don't know if I would call this necessarily a negative. It's more so an opinion on the player. But for me, growing up with the original Combat Evolved, and you have the toggle graphics, you have the option to play this game entirely in the Anniversary graphics, or in the original Combat Evolved graphics, or a little bit of both. Now, me being just a pure fan of Halo, I wanted to see both sides of the coin, and I have to say, due with some of the remake graphics of the Anniversary, I feel like some of the levels that we were going for, or the tones and the mood, changes with some of the levels. Now, I think on the level, Halo, which is like the 2nd or 3rd level, the tone in Combat Evolved felt originally very cold. It felt cold, and you were like kind of exploring in this place you weren't comfortable with, and it felt very open, but it felt bleak at the same time. And when you looked up at the Halo and you could see it, it was very detailed, but there was not much in the sky. It felt empty. And I know that is because of the graphical capabilities of the original Xbox and what they were going for, but I must say with 343 Industries, and they remade it, I feel like the tone was lost a little bit in some of these levels, especially on that level, Halo. I felt like the tone in the Anniversary graphics they kind of diluted the feeling, and they didn't really make it feel the exact same way. But I must say, the toggle option is really cool, and I love it, and it is in Halo 2, and when I do the Halo 2 anniversary review, I'm curious to kind of think about that again with some of those characters. From the moment you hear Marty O'Donnell's theme of the original Halo, you know you're going on some grand adventure. And while this grand adventure spanned a trilogy of games and awesome spin-offs and now some sequels, this is the start of it all. You are experiencing discovery, you are experiencing a new threat, the Covenant, Master Chief. This is where it began, and since I've played that game back in like 2003, it is still one of the best experiences I've had in a first-person shooter. I think the first 4 levels of Halo Combat Evolved specifically are incredible, and they add the sense of wonder and discovery that you really don't find in a lot of video games anymore. And just with the theme songs and the controls and the graphics, I think this game is super special and still holds up well to this day. So, that is my review of Halo Combat Evolved. It's one of my favorite experiences I've ever had. Please let me know in the comments down below if you've ever played Halo. If you're interested in Halo, what do you think about the Anniversary graphics? What do you think about the Master Chief Collection? Are you excited for Halo Infinite? That is one other thing I want to address. Halo Infinite was delayed, unfortunately. So while I agree with the delay, I'm still going to review all these games, and at the end of all these videos, I may do something special. May. So that is it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below. As always, my name is Brandon, and I will see you all next time.